Hey guys, what's up? Shamar here, and today I bring you guys a new series to my channel called Learning AE or Learning After Effects. And pretty much what this series will be about is, well, learning After Effects, but from the more ground up beginning levels. So I'm not just going to be throwing out tutorials on how to do random things. It's more or less going to be how to get introduced to this program and start learning it gradually. And I know that a lot of people, at school or just wherever I talk to people about video editing, even online, it's still a demand for people to learn how to, use After Effects because a lot of people just don't know where to start. And I personally can atone to this because when I started learning After Effects too, I did not really know where to start. And I luckily I did find a channel that helped me start from the beginning, and from there I worked up gradually. But my goal is to kind of do the same and just help you guys understand the basics of After Effects. Because I know a lot of people say it looks confusing, and honestly, it does look confusing. And even now, I've been using After Effects for about 4 years, and sometimes it still does confuse me. But the goal of this series is really just let you guys feel comfortable with After Effects, learn some key things, and just get used to it and have more encouragement when using this program. So today, just start off, just like anything you got to start off with the basics and the small things, right? And today we're just going to learn about how to import and export video. Now, this is something that a lot of people can kind of struggle with just looking at this platform because there's not a lot that really gives you indications, right? So I'll tell you guys how to pretty much import it. So you can do the traditional way by going to File. Right here, you go to Import, and then you have File, multiple files. That's one way. Second way is you can right-click on this project panel and hit Import, then import, file, multiple files, right? You can also double left click on here, and boom, opens up your document, and you can search for your files. Now, what I typically do is I just click my folder, I get whatever clips I want. Let's say if I want to do a bunch of them, like if I want to select a bunch, I can do that. But I just want one, so I'll take this, drag it in there, and then it should import, right? Now, one tip too, just have to say quickly, whenever you are in After Effects, right, and your thing is loading slowly for those who have slower computers, don't click around too much. Because what's going to happen is on the top of here, you're going to see it says not responding. And this is the biggest thing in After Effects that really makes like people get annoyed with it, is that it has this not responding thing. And you have to just hope that it will be responsive, because if you don't, it will close out. You would have to force close it, and it's gonna suck. Now, with the newer versions of After Effects, like I'm using CC 2014, there's like auto save and like recover files and stuff, so that's not as bad, but still, just be wary of that. So now we have our clip. We can go and make a composition. Now, if you're just working on one one single clip, sorry, you can hold on this, drag it onto this little icon right here, and then it will make a composition that matches all of the properties of the clips. So as you can see right here, this clip has it's filmed by 1920 by 1080. That's what it's captured in, and it's also captured in 29.97 FPS, which is also 30 FPS. This is typically the FPS that you're gonna have when you do like real life video editing, like with real people and stuff like that, because it's what complements the video the most. You won't see 60 FPS or 59.94 unless you're capturing images that are moving at a fast rate, like let's say a hockey game, or you're doing like like video game editing, if you're editing like, I don't know, a COD montage or a league montage or whatever, some game, right? Those are the only times you'll probably see 60, right? And even then you could still do 30 if your computer wasn't able to capture it in 60. So, but we're not just editing one clip, so we're just going to click off this comp. We're going to make a single comp just in case if you're doing more than one, because typically in After Effects you're probably going to be working on more than one clip, right? So right here, this is your composition settings, and this is pretty much where you can customize how your comp will work with your clips. So right now I have the 1920 by 1080, also because my clip is filmed that way, but some people may have filmed it in 720p and not 1080p, which is perfectly fine. So you just go 1280 by 720, and if you have lock aspect ratio, it will do it for you. Like, it'll fill out the height, and the After Effects will know what the appropriate pixel is for the height to complement the width. If you don't have it unlocked, then you can just do it manually and it won't affect it at all. But of course, this makes it a little easier, right? And you can manage how much time you want. That doesn't really matter, but if you want to, even if you want to start at a certain time, you can do that. If you want your comms to only be 1 minute, you can set it to 1, but you know, I want it at 3, so it's okay. So everything here is all right. Keep your frame rate at 29.97. If you're ever editing a bunch of clips and you don't know what the relative frame rate is, like let's say there's a bunch of different frame rates, you get like a 56, a 59, and you're not really sure, just do 29.97. You never go wrong with that, because even if there's a bunch of clips that are higher above that, it will still go smooth versus having a bunch of 30 FPS clips and then you're editing it inside of like, I don't know, 60, which is bad. So when in doubt, just 29.97 or 30. All right, no really big difference. So I have my new composition, right? Also forgot, you can when you're making a new composition, you can change the name at the top. So yeah, but anyways, we have a new composition. So now we get our clip and we can drag it in here, right? When we drag it, it automatically snaps. Now as you see right now, my clip is too big, right? And I believe it's because I changed this resolution, right? The resolution is 1280 by 720, so I'll change that back to 1920 by 1080. And as you see, boom, it's okay. So if there's anytime there's a problem with your composition, just go up to here, then it's composition settings. All right. So now I have my clip. If I hit these mountains, I can zoom in more to just see more of my timeline, right? Now let's say this clip is finished, or I'm just re-rendering this, whatever. I'm just gonna give you quick tips on how to actually do it. So let's say my clip is in the middle, right? I don't know, and I want to render just this, like just this part right here, like here to here. So what I can do to snap to the clip is to hit I, right? Hit I, and then I hit B. And what that does, that brings my work area, the place where I'm going to render all of my stuff, where the rendering is going to happen. I hit B, so it brings it to the beginning, right? And then from there, to finish it, because I don't want all this space to be rendered, because all this space will just be black and it'll be part of the video. So I hit O to go to the end of the clip, right? And look at that smile, great smile, right? And then I hit N, and that closes off the workspace, right? Now if I want to be a little more organized too, what I can do is just right click, hit trim comp to work area. That means I'm going to trim my composition to this area, and boom. Now it's like from the beginning, my whole clip is or my whole composition is fitting to the length of my clip, right? So now I have this. So now I want to render this, right? So what you need to do, After Effects is a little different in terms of rendering, and a lot of other applications, right? A lot of people hit export, right? Because they think that's where you're supposed to go. Thing is, it's not that different. It's not really that same. Here, you don't click any of these. You might click this, but you don't really click any of these, right? For when you're rendering. An easy way to do it is just hit your clip, make sure it's selected or your comp is selected, go to composition, add to render queue, right? And the thing about After Effects that's nice as well is that I could queue up multiple renders. So I can just get all these things set up, have multiple queues, and hit render. But I'll show you guys that later. So now let's go to our settings. So we have our output module. This is pretty much the more important one. You always click this one. So you click this, it brings it up, and you have a bunch of options. Now I'm telling you right now, don't hit AVI. This makes your files astronomically huge. You don't want them to be that huge. You'll have like a 10-second file, a 10-second video that's like 3 gigabytes, and you don't want that. It's inconvenient. So the ones you're gonna go with are QuickTime. Okay. Now personally, I'm on a Windows, and I don't like QuickTime because it makes the files too big. Not as big as AVI, but it's not that great. If you're on Mac, this is what you're always gonna go with. But I personally don't like QuickTime. But with the new After Effects, you will have this. If you have After Effects CS6 and lower, around here there'll be an option for like H.26 or whatever, right? 264, and that's pretty much MP4, right? But you'll go with QuickTime. But before you do that, you're gonna go to Format Options, and I have mine configured already. But by default, yours should be Animation if you have never used After Effects. For best quality, you're gonna hit that. You're gonna go down to H.264, right? And this will pretty much make it this better quality. It'll be like an MP4, and it will have it like you can play it a lot more applications, and it will be better. Just hit H.264 and it'll be a lot better, right? All this stuff, you don't gotta worry about this because it's a simple video. Don't gotta worry about that. We could cover that in a future tutorial. And here, always make sure you hit audio output on, because it's not set automatically. It's on auto, right? So just keep it on. Like whenever you click this thing right here, lossless, make sure the first thing you check is audio output on. I can't tell you how many times I've rendered a video and I haven't checked this, and it really sucks because you have to restart it again. So hit OK. So you have that done, and you can make a preset, if you want, but we'll get into that another time. Go here. This is to just make sure you have the right settings, because sometimes your comp may be in a different frame rate, or you want to render in a different frame rate, So use this frame rate, that's the customized one. Or if the comp is the frame rate that you want, just keep it on here. But you're just gonna really touch these two in here. That's all you're gonna do, right? And then resolution at full, all that stuff. You don't need to worry about that. Hit OK. Now output 2. This is where you're saving to where you want it to save. So I can just save to my desktop because it's like, I'm not actually gonna render it, but I can change the name to, I don't know, test 1 LOL, right? And I can make a subfolder. I don't want that, but let's say I wanted a folder for that, I can do that. I hit save, and then boom. All I gotta do now is hit render, okay? And let's say if I want to render, I don't know, a bunch of these for some reason. Let's say there's another, let's say if I input another video, right? Let's do this, right? Input another video, I do that. I'm not gonna do the settings, I'm just gonna, so whatever, right? I have this, go to the same place, composition, add to render queue, boom. Now I have more than one, and when I hit render, all of them are rendered. So let's say I'm ready now, and if there's one I don't want to do on there, I click it and I hit delete, right? So now I have this, all right? Click on this one, and all I gotta do now is hit render, all right? And it's gonna start to render. Now, if you want this to render a little bit faster, hit caps lock, and what that does is that freezes the preview screen, and it makes your thing render a lot faster. Like it saves a lot of seconds, because if you think about it, your computer's not only working to render it, but it's also working to preview every single frame. And if you have a slower computer, with like not as much RAM, this could take up like double the time. So even if you have a fast computer, just hit caps lock, because you might save a few minutes on the render, and it's cool. So that's pretty much it so far though, for in terms of just importing and exporting. Pretty simple. This tutorial is kind of a little long for just that, but I want to have you guys to just really grasp the concept, so there's no confusion, right? So yeah, this is just the first part of it. So test it out, try importing and exporting, see what you can do, and then just remember, for rendering, always have your audio output out. I'm just gonna wait for this to be finished though, because there's a certain sound that when you're done rendering, you're gonna hear, and it's it's gonna be the best sound to hear, right? Let's see if it's gonna go. There you go, that's the sound, okay? And whenever I hear that sound, it's great, right? So that's pretty much it. This is just how to import and export. I will try to have more of these tutorials out. These I'll be doing a lot more because they're a lot easier for me to make, and they help a lot more people as well. In the future, I will probably have some more advanced tutorials once I get a good amount of these out. But yeah, if you have any suggestions on what you want to learn from the basics, leave it in the comments, and I'll get to you guys later. Well, anyways, this has been Shaemar. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.